Chapter 2041, Done. You don't even have to do an investigation. I can already guess what's fishy about this. After all, there are only a few possibilities. Since this has nothing to do with the Zai family, the Chiao family would, at most, have borrowed the Zai family's name and roped a few dishonest test-takers into the scheme. Zai Sheng thought that there was nothing wrong with his family being investigated since they had done nothing wrong. People believed whatever Ding Jiyi said, so why did the Zai family have to take responsibility for a fool like that? Besides, if these people had not harbored their own hidden motives and wanted to get in the good books of these highly esteemed family members of the Zai family, they would never have been taken in by the words of a mere housewife. Could it be that these people working in the department had even less experience than Ding Jiyi, who had never worked a single day in her life? It was simply because they did not possess the right mindsets and attitudes that they had been swayed by the path presented in front of them. All right. Because Qiaonan could tell from Zai Sheng's tone that this incident would not affect the Zai family, she heaved a sigh of relief. All the problems that followed would be left to the Chiao family to solve. What will we do now that Chiao Zijin's name is already on the name list? They could not possibly let Chiao Zijin attend the interview, right? Since the Chiao family's deception had already been exposed, allowing Chiao Zijin to attend the interview would mean robbing another capable young person of that opportunity. Because she had already been so unfairly treated at Chiao Zijin's hands while she was younger, she did not wish for anyone to have to go through what she had. Don't worry. This matter has already been settled. The name list has already been announced and can't be changed. There will be too many rumors and speculations if we were to change it. As for how we'll proceed, it's easy. As long as Chiao Zijin can't attend the interview, we'll simply allow the next person on the list, who should have earned that spot, to attend the interview in her place. Since the incident had already happened, all they could do was try to minimize its impact. Zai Sheng could only remark about how small the world was. The only reason why they had not been able to keep Chiao Zijin's matter under wraps and why the matter had been exposed was all due to Ding Jiyi's greed. Although the second marriage of Ping Cheng's chief Zai had not made the news, most of the people in the circle had already learned of it. Upon finding out about this news, there were many who wondered if they would be invited to the wedding because they were officials. They wanted to see how chiefs organized their weddings, and get close to a chief in person. It went without saying that most people did not get such a chance, but that did not stop people from getting interested in Zai Sheng's marriage. As such, there were quite a few people who tried to find out more about Chief Zai's bride and her family background. And it so happened that both Ding Jiyi and Chiao Zijin had been on the news in the past. There was no need for Ding Jiyi to introduce herself to let the other party know that she was Chief Zai's mother-in-law. Although this was her first time doing something like that, Ding Jiyi had not spared any expense with her boasting and arrogance. It's all good as long as you know who I am, who my daughter is, and who my son-in-law is. My elder daughter registered for the civil service entrance examination this round. Here are the documents of my elder daughter, the sister of my younger daughter. I'm sure you know what to do. I don't think you need me to get my younger son-in-law to make a trip here personally, right? There was no way the other party dared to reject her. Of course not. Chief Zai is the light of Ping Cheng. We all know how busy he usually is. There's no need for him to make a trip down for such a trivial matter. Initially, he had wanted to ask why Chief Zai's mother-in-law had to make a trip down for such a trivial matter. Given Chief Zai's position, he could have dealt with the matter with a simple phone call. It was not as though they were fools. They would know what they should do afterward. By the way, does Chief Zai have any other special instructions for us? Why don't you make a call to Chief Zai now and ask him? He had done Chief Zai a favor by helping his sister-in-law secure a job in the civil service. If he did not make this call, Chief Zai would never know that he was the one who had secured that job for his sister-in-law. He was not one to do good deeds anonymously. As such, he had to let Chief Zai know that he was the one who had done so. In that way, he would be the first person to come to Chief Zai's mind in the future if anything good happened, and Chief Zai would be sure to give him a helping hand. Everyone in the circle knew to reciprocate. Hearing that he was about to make a call, Ding Jiyi's expression almost stiffened. Thankfully, she caught herself in time. Ding Jiyi could guess what that person was up to. What's the hurry? My daughter's getting married to him and I'm sure they have a lot of things keeping them busy. There's nothing more important than one's wedding. Don't worry. I know you're a responsible person. Once my daughter becomes a civil servant, you'll definitely be invited whenever our family organizes any events. At that time, we won't even need a call. I'll present you to my son-in-law in person and let him know what you've done for us. The other party happened to be fantasizing about attending Chief Zai's wedding and someone was now giving him this rare opportunity to do so. Ding Jiyi's appearance had made it possible for him to have a chance to have a meal with Chief Zai. Of course, there was no way a simple call would match up to a face-to-face meeting. This was his lucky break. Because of this encounter, Qiao Zijian, who had clearly submitted a blank script, had been shortlisted for the interview. Initially, this would have passed just like that. However, the person whom Ding Jiyi had sought out had tried his best to transform Qiao Zijian's blank script into one that would earn full marks. In reality, he did not know whether to laugh or cry upon seeing Qiao Zijian's script being handed in the same way as when it had first been handed out. But foolishness did not matter as long as one had the right connections. Although her brain was empty, she had a good sister. That was why she could think of getting a good job as a civil servant. But there were benefits of having a blank script. At the very least, it would not be obvious when he tried to amend Qiao Zijian's answers. Chapter 2042, Another Visit. Initially, the man had thought of taking this credit for himself. That way, he would have the chance of being invited to the Qiao family's house for a meal and show his existence in front of Chief Zai. After all, he would have to share his credit with others if they were to learn about it. Unfortunately, he had forgotten all about Ding Jiyi's temper and image that he had seen on the news in the past. He had thought that everything would be solved once Qiao Zijian passed the written examination and reached the interview stage. Once Qiao Zijian passed the interview, he would have finished his work here. Who would have known that Ding Jiyi would appear yet again, presenting him with a bigger problem? What? You want me to let someone shortlisted for the interview go and give their space to this young lady? Looking at the name on the note, the man did not know whether to laugh or cry. It was such a coincidence that he did have an impression of this name. If he had not done Qiao Zijian that favor, this young lady's name should have been on the list for the interview. It was exactly because Qiao Zijian had been shortlisted that this young lady had been kicked off the list. At that time, he had thought that it was a pity since that young lady's results were pretty good. It was just unfortunate that this young lady had not taken the examination at the right time. Yes, that's right. Thinking about the 100,000 yuan at home, Ding Jiyi repeated herself even more firmly. You might not know this, but this young lady grew up following my younger daughter around. They have a close relationship. They might not be biological sisters, but they are closer than real sisters. I didn't know that she was taking the test this time too. It's a little troublesome, but I hope that you'll be able to help us out again. I still remember what I promised you the previous time. Once she and my daughter become civil servants, we'll organize a banquet. When that time comes, I'll arrange for you to sit right next to my son-in-law. Ding Jiyi talked about Zai Sheng as her son-in-law. Her tone made it seem as though she shared a close relationship with him and that Zai Sheng respected her as his mother-in-law. The other party was moved by Ding Jiyi's mention of arranging his seat beside Zai Sheng's. How was he supposed to have known that the picture that Ding Jiyi had painted was nothing more than an illusion? The Zai family had not even left a seat for Ding Jiyi at Zai Sheng and Qiao Nan's wedding. In fact, Ding Jiyi had not even been allowed to get past the door and had even been sent to the police station for an entire afternoon. Ding Jiyi had already thought it through. It did not matter whether she was on good terms with Zai Sheng or Qiao Nan. The facts remained that one was her son-in-law, while the other was her biological daughter. If Qiao Zijin really became a civil servant and she were to hold a banquet, the other party would probably be upset if Zai Sheng and Qiao Nan did not show up. But that did not matter either. She was certain that the other party would not dare to get revenge on her, much less scheme against Qiao Zijin. Apart from the relationship between the two of them, she had not lied about anything. Everything else had been nothing but the truth. No matter how much the other party had wanted to get close to the Zai family, he knew that Ding Jiyi's request was a little too ridiculous. Auntie Ding. I could possibly have done something if you had come to me about this before the examination. But now that the results have been announced, I really can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. Auntie Ding, you're putting me on the spot. It would cause an uproar if he were to add another name to the list after it had already been announced and published. The public generally viewed a civil service job as a good job. As such, there were many people who had their eyes on this job. How could he possibly add a name to the published name list just like that? Did she think that this was a game? Thinking once again about Ding Jiyi's description of this young lady's relationship with Qiao Nan, the other party smirked. It was really true that having a friend with status and power helped an official do well. What was even truer was that when one was successful, those around them were sure to ride on their success. The younger daughter of the Qiao family had married well and had become the chief's wife. That was why even a childhood friend of the chief's wife could become a civil servant just because she wanted to. It seemed as though the door to the government sector was open to the Qiao family. They could enter as and when they wanted, inviting anyone they wished along. In the face of Ding Jiyi's unreasonable demands, this person, who had wanted to get close to the Zai family, was starting to regret his decision. It was all right that they were crazy, but they were even foolish. There were no limits to their actions. No matter how impressive Chief Zai was, he was only a chief. There were superiors above him. It was not as though Chief Zai was like an emperor in ancient times, whereby he had the final say. If he were to interfere in this matter, even Chief Zai might no longer be able to handle it. Auntie Ding, don't be like this. Why don't you ask her to try again next year? We'll definitely be recruiting for the civil service again next year. I'll remember this young lady's name. I'll make sure she'll get in next year. How's that? No way. It's not as if you guys are only selecting one person this year. Since both she and my daughter can be selected at once, why should we have to wait until next year? If she accepted his proposal, she would have to return that 100,000 yuan at home. This was Ding Jiyi's first time earning money relying only on her own capabilities. Moreover, it had been such a huge sum of money. This was undoubtedly a great success and joy for Ding Jiyi. This 100,000 yuan was the fruit of her labor. There was no way she was going to return it, but that would also mean that she would have to ensure that that neighbor's daughter was selected for the interview too. Thinking about that thick stack of banknotes, Ding Jiyi was even more adamant. You've done this in the past. I trust that you'll definitely be able to get it done for me. Because you've helped me out, I'll make sure that I introduce you well to my son-in-law who's a chief. Since you address me as auntie, I know you'll do me this favor. Don't think that you'll have many opportunities in the future just because you're still young. You have to seek out these opportunities. Don't regret it in the future for not cherishing these opportunities that are right in front of you. Ding Jiyi purposely tried to seem profound and played hard to get. Of course, if you really think that you can't do it, I won't force you into it either. You should know the position my son-in-law is in. To be honest, there are many people who are eager to help my son-in-law. It's just that I don't want to trouble my son-in-law. That's why I came to find you. That's right. If my son-in-law were to handle this matter, he would have looked for your immediate supervisor instead of you. Chapter 2043, Accepted for the interview. Perhaps, that would have been easier. Ding Jiyi had not said those words for nothing. Since Ding Jiyi was nobody, she had no choice but to look for the underlings. Zai Sheng held a high position, and as such, his phone call would naturally be made to those in high positions as well. There was no way he would have gone to someone at a level as low as the person whom Ding Ji had found. Don't worry. You did do quite a lot for my elder daughter. I wanted to save my son-in-law some trouble, but unfortunately, it seems like my son-in-law will have to deal with this matter himself. We'll hold a banquet once my elder daughter becomes a civil servant. Do remember to turn up for it then. Even if you don't get the chance to sit at the same table as my son-in-law, you might get the chance to talk to him, at the very least. Since there will be quite a few people with higher positions than you, please don't mind me if I'm not able to host you well. If he could not handle this matter, Ding Ji would simply find someone else to do it. Then, his dream of being specially introduced to Zai Sheng and sitting at the same table as Zai Sheng would never be fulfilled. How one was treated was all dependent on one's ability and how much work one had done. It was only natural for one to get more in return if they did more work. But if someone else were to settle the important matters, one should have the good conscience to stand aside and not fantasize about unrealistic and impossible situations. Ding Ji had greatly reduced her earlier promise, causing that person, who had already fallen deep into his dream, to feel uncomfortable. Auntie Ding, it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just that it's impossible for me to do it given the situation now. He was reluctant to give up the chance to dine with Chief Zai, but there was no way he would be able to get this matter done alone. It was not as if he had the final say in this department. Once he did something, everyone else in the department would surely find out about it. There was no way he would be able to claim all credit himself this time. The only difference was that in this case, he would still get greater credit as compared to anyone else. He had been forced into a corner by Ding Ji. He had already given up so much for Ding Ji. At the very least, he had managed to help Jiao Zijin pass the written examination by his own effort. Why was it that his services were now being discounted just because he had not managed to settle the situation for the lackey of the chief's wife? That was unfair. What logic was it that a childhood friend was closer than a biological sister? He refused to give up, but he knew he would never be able to settle the matter alone. Left with no other choice, he could only report the matter to his superior to see if there was any other way of solving the problem. Anyway, this was not his personal problem but the sister of the chief's wife's. He did not need his boss to care about him. He only needed his boss to care about the chief. After receiving Zai Sheng's call, the department head was faced with a difficult choice. The department head felt that there was no way they could go ahead with this. Since Jiao Zijin's matter had already passed, there was no point in pursuing it anymore. However, they could not possibly accede to the Jiao family's requests once again. That would only make a joke out of their department. If they were to go through with it, all of them might very well lose their positions. Yet, if they did not do it, Chief Zai might just get angry and find an excuse to fire all of them. Either way, their positions were at risk of being cut. Just as the department head was about to lose his mind, Zai Sheng's call had saved him from the fire. Upon hearing that Zai Sheng intended to resolve this matter fairly, the department head immediately understood his intentions. People were also using made-up directives to order people around, but the Chiao family was even more impressive. They were using fake edicts to order people around. That was to say that the news reports regarding the Chiao family last year were quite reliable. The chief's wife had suffered at the hands of the Chiao family and had finally been able to escape from that sea of misery after her blissful marriage. Although she had not completely severed all ties with her family, there was no way her relationship with her family would be like that of other daughters with their families. With such a clear directive from Zai Sheng, the other party did not bother being soft-hearted toward the Chiao family. Zai Sheng had already made his stand clear. If anyone wanted to become a civil servant, they had better rely on their own abilities to do so. It did not matter whom one had as a relative. How much knowledge one had was more important. As for people like Jiao Zijin who tried to enter through back doors, there was no space for them at all, no matter how good their results were. If they were to accept such people, they would only be raising more leeches in the country. Of course, even though Jiao Zijin's name had appeared on the list, there was no longer the need for her to turn up for the interview. As such, that person who had been kicked out because of Jiao Zijin would naturally be invited. But there was a slight problem. It was because of Jiao Zijin that neighbor's daughter had been kicked off the list, and it just so happened that neighbor's daughter intended to walk down the same path as Jiao Zijin and had asked Ding Jiyi to help her in through a back door. In the face of such a situation, Zai Sheng made his decision after a moment of consideration. They would allow that neighbor's daughter to attend the interviews this time, but this was not going to set precedents for the future. Although that young lady had indeed done some underhanded things because she had not been shortlisted, she had still passed the test based on her own abilities. If Jiao Zijin had not come into the picture, that young lady would never have needed to do all those things that followed after the results had been announced. Based on this, they would overlook the fact that young lady had asked the Jiao family for such a favor. Just like the written examination, they would judge the candidates based on their abilities during the interview. With Zai Sheng's instructions, the recruitment department immediately got down to work and made several calls to inform the relevant parties. The neighbor's daughter was dumbfounded when she received the call, informing her that she had been accepted for the interview. "What's wrong? Who called you? Why have you become like this after that call?" Seeing that her daughter was stunned, the neighbor could not help but wonder what had happened. That young lady blinked blankly and pinched her face to see if she was dreaming. "That call was to inform me that I've been accepted for the civil service entrance interview. The time and place." "Yes, yes. Hurry and get me a pen and some paper. Otherwise, I might just forget them later." The young lady rambled on anxiously. Upon hearing that, the young lady's father immediately got the pen and paper ready for her. Chapter 2044, Accumulated Experience. The corners of the neighbor's lips curled up into a slight smile. The name list for the interview was already published. "I didn't expect that. He. The Chiao family has really risen up riding on the coattails of a dragon. But we don't have to care about the Chiao family anymore as long as our 100,000 yuan didn't go to waste." No matter how upset and dissatisfied she was, there were some things that she would never get no matter how envious she was. Besides, she had always felt that her daughter was very good and no worse than anyone else. At the mention of the 100,000 yuan that her family had spent, the young lady's expression changed. Although she had just entered society, that young lady had caught the subtle hint through the call. "Mom, why do I feel as though we've spent money in vain? No one in the Chiao family, apart from Sister Chiao Nan, is a good person. They're practically scammers." This 100,000 yuan was her parents' hard-earned money. She could not let the Chiao family take advantage of them just like that. The problem was that it would be a challenge to get that sum of money back. The neighbor's eyes widened. "What do you mean? How could our money have been wasted? What's going on? Tell me." It was 100,000 yuan they were talking about. How could they have wasted such a huge sum of money? After thinking about it, the young lady said, "I've been accepted for the interview, but if I'm not wrong, Jiao Zijin won't be allowed to attend the interview anymore." Why was it that she had been accepted while Jiao Zijin, whose name had been published on the name list, was no longer needed at the interview? The young lady could guess the situation after thinking it through. Thinking about how she would have been able to pass the test based on her own abilities if Jiao Zijin had not gotten in the way, the young lady was infuriated. "Mom, that family is really too evil. Not only had they kicked her off the list initially, but they even had the guts to demand 100,000 yuan from them. Initially, she could have been accepted for the interview even without paying 100,000 yuan if Jiao Zijin had not used those underhanded methods." The neighbor's eyes were as wide and fierce as a tiger's. "See, I told you that family is pure evil. They stole my hard-earned money. I was so upset that I wasn't able to eat well in the past few days. That won't do. How can they bully others like that? I'm going to get my money back. We can't let them take advantage of us in this way. I won't even acknowledge her as my neighbor in the future. Neither her daughter nor husband tried to stop her from rushing off to get their money back. After all, their family had indeed been taken advantage of. Not only had the Chiao family done them wrong, but they had even demanded money from them. Could anyone get any more malicious than that? At the same time that the neighbor's family had received that call, Chiao Zijin had been informed that she no longer needed to attend the interview. I'm sorry. You don't fit our requirements, so you don't have to attend the interview anymore. Even if you do, you won't be allowed to attend the interview. Chiao Zijin had not even managed to process the information before the other party hung up the call. That tone and attitude caused Chiao Zijin to fly into a rage. Did they know who she was? Did they know who her younger sister was and whom she had married a few days ago? They were salaried workers receiving a salary from the government. Soon, she would be one too. How could that person have the guts to speak to her with that tone? Wait a minute. Did they say that she did not meet the requirements and would not need to go for the interview? Mom! Chiao Zijin screamed in a shrill voice, calling out for Ding Jiyi anxiously. Mom, hurry on out. Hurry up. Something's wrong. Mom, what did you do yesterday? Why did you ruin my matter? She had indeed wanted her mom to earn that 100,000 yuan, but she had never expected that her mom would ruin everything for her. If she were to become a civil servant, her yearly salary would far exceed 100,000 yuan. As such, she had never thought of giving up a cradle-to-grave job for that small sum of 100,000 yuan from that neighbor. If she had to choose between 100,000 yuan and a civil service job, she would definitely pick the latter. Did her mom not know how to differentiate between what was truly important? Had her mom said something wrong, or had the person whom her mom had sought out not known what was more important? Why had the situation descended into such a mess? She was Chiao Nan's biological sister, so her matter was of top priority. What's wrong? Ding Jiyi rushed over from the kitchen with wet hands. As someone who had just earned 100,000 yuan, Ding Jiyi had been in a good mood and had made a trip to the market to purchase some of Chiao Zijin's favorite seafood to whip up a good meal. As such, she had been busying herself in the kitchen. What's the matter? Why are you so anxious? Do you have some good news to share with me? Ding Jiyi felt that the last year had been the Chiao family's most unlucky year. They had run into every unlucky thing one could think of. She had not expected her fortunes to change so quickly and that good things would come one after another. Ding Jiyi felt that she had truly been blessed by the heavens. Good news? I won't be allowed to go for the civil service entrance interview anymore. Is that good news? Chiao Zijin pointed at her phone. I just received a call saying that I don't meet the requirements and that they don't need me at the interview anymore. Mom, did you hear that? It's not because I've already been accepted as a civil servant that I don't need to attend the interview. It's because they don't want me anymore. Mom, I wonder what you told them yesterday. You'd better go and find out what happened to that neighbor's daughter. What if that person misunderstood you and gave my place to that person? If that's the case, you've really ruined everything for me. Mom. They had let go of the big prize while grabbing at trifles. Coincidentally, just as these two people were about to clear the air with their neighbor, that neighbor was even faster and had already blocked Ding Jiyi's way at her door before Ding Jiyi could even get out. Seeing that they had turned up, Ding Jiyi's expression changed. It's good that you're here. I have something. Ding Jiyi, you shameless woman. Return me my 100,000 yuan. They had been scammed. Her daughter's job was already on the line, and the neighbor, who had benefited from the situation, had the cheek to demand a return of that money. Ding Jiyi flew into a rage. He. Old neighbors? You're a bunch of heartless fools. You want me to return your 100,000 yuan? Fine. If we had not helped your family, nothing would have gone wrong with Zijin's interview. Since we're talking about money, I'll return your 100,000 yuan to you. Then, our Zijin will be able to go for the interview while your daughter won't. At that time, you'd better keep your mouth shut and not spout any nonsense. It was just 100,000 yuan. It was only because this was her first time handling such a matter that she had not done it well. Next year, with experience from this year, she would definitely be able to handle it even better. Chapter 2045, Remember It All. Wasn't it just 100,000 yuan? She would take it as accumulating experience today. Next year, she would definitely earn more than this 100,000 yuan. You have thought so beautifully. Ding Jiyi still wanted to pull strings. The neighbor only felt that she was going to laugh her teeth off. Would we, these neighbors of the quad, not know how capable the Chiao family is? Our Chiao family might be incapable in the past, but things are different now. Their Chiao family couldn't pull strings and was incapable. One had to know that the chief was now her son-in-law. She was now the chief's mother-in-law. In this world, there were a lot of women who gave birth to daughters. However, there were not many in this world whose daughters could marry the chief. She, Ding Jiyi, was one of them. She was that capable. Even if she couldn't give birth to a son, the daughter she gave birth to was more capable than other children. Even a son couldn't compare to her daughter. Haha, the neighbor laughed until her waist was sore. Yes, yes. Qiao Nan married Zai Sheng and became the chief's wife. However, who are you, the chief's mother-in-law? Is your relationship with Qiao Nan like an ordinary mother-daughter pair? Who else in Pingcheng doesn't know that you treated Qiao Nan as a cow to order around and as hard labor of the Qiao family? What kind of mother are you? Qiao Nan ran away last year. When she got married this year, she didn't invite you. She no longer acknowledges you as her mom. When Qiao Nan didn't invite her to her wedding, the neighbor initially felt unhappy and uncomfortable. After all, they were living in the same quad and she saw Qiao Nan grow up. Back then, she was already thinking that her own daughter had graduated from university and was looking for a job. Using Qiao Nan's wedding as an opportunity, she could find ways to get to know a few more people and help find a way out for her daughter. As such, after failing to attend Qiao Nan's wedding, the neighbor said words of jealousy for a long time. She said that Qiao Nan no longer recognized people after marrying into a good family and that it was no wonder Ding Jiyi would treat Qiao Nan in such a manner. After all, Qiao Nan was Ding Jiyi's birth daughter. If it wasn't that Qiao Nan was problematic to begin with, would Ding Jiyi beat and scold Qiao Nan when she was unhappy to vent her anger? Such a thing happened to the Qiao family. If Ding Jiyi wasn't good, something must be wrong with Qiao Nan as well. However, at this time, the neighbor no longer felt so. All the problems clearly lay with Ding Jiyi. She couldn't bother to say anything about Ding Jiyi's contradictions and flaws. She and Ding Jiyi were neighbors for over 10 years. However, she swallowed her family's 100,000 yuan without blinking. She was really a ruthless character. Yes, she didn't attend Qiao Nan's wedding. However, she was just a neighbor. As Qiao Nan's birth mom, Ding Jiyi didn't attend either. With Ding Jiyi as a comparison, the neighbor felt that her previous treatment was pretty normal. Your daughter doesn't even acknowledge you. In that case, how could Zai Sheng be considered your son-in-law? I bet the Zai family never treats you as family. Don't you know who you are? You really don't have any tinge of self-awareness and even dare to boast this much. Bah! Return the 100,000 yuan to us. Qiao Zijin wants to be a civil servant and pull my daughter down? Sure, I'll wait and see. I'll see how Qiao Zijin pulls my daughter down. If she's better than my daughter, I'll chop my head down for your family to use as a stool. As soon as the neighbor spoke, a lot of past events came to mind. Although these things have passed for so many years, no one is suffering from dementia. Everyone has an impression of Qiao Nan's childhood. When Qiao Nan was young, she was so well behaved. She was always first in her class and top 3 in her grade. She's the best in our quad when it came to studying. Your family's strange. Instead of nurturing Xiaonan, who was always in the top 3 in her grade, you chose to spend all the money in the family on Xiao Zijin, who didn't know how to study at all. You sacrificed Xiaonan for so many years just to buy a university degree for Xiao Zijin. When Xiaonan dropped out of school to work, a lot of people in the quad didn't understand it initially. Even if Xiaonan didn't like to talk, everyone in the quad knew how good she was in her studies. Even when their child was lagging behind, they would often place their child next to Xiaonan to study together so that if they encountered something they didn't understand, they could ask Xiaonan directly. In this way, their child could be said to have earned a free and young teacher. It was just that Xiaonan was no longer studying. Even the 9 years of compulsory education couldn't make the Qiao family let Xiaonan continue studying. As a bystander and outsider, what could they do if the Qiao family didn't care about Xiaonan's future? It cost quite a lot of money for a child to go to school. What if in the midst of persuading Ding Ji, she retorted with, "Are you going to pay for Xiaonan's school fees?" If such words were said, what were they going to do? They were all people with children in their family. Who would be willing to let out a part of one's hard-earned money to nurture other people's children? If they didn't do so, their words of kind persuasion would seem fake and that they were purely there to watch the Qiao family's excitement. Because of all the hesitations in their hearts, even if a lot of people felt that it was a pity that Xiaonan couldn't continue studying even though her results were good, no one eventually ran to the Qiao family to find Qiao Dongliang or Ding Ji to persuade them to consider letting Xiaonan further her studies again. Xiaonan didn't have much contact with these neighbors from the northern quad and wasn't even willing to invite them to her wedding. It was also because of this that they passed off as a relative from her family to get some face. Indeed, a distant relative was not as good as a near neighbor. However, Xiaonan didn't enjoy the care of her neighbors since young. Because she was still unmarried when she was already 40 years old, not only did the neighbors not feel heartache for Xiaonan's encounter and pity her, but they even taught their children that Xiaonan was a negative example. When they were trying to frighten their child, they would definitely say, "If you don't study well and get good results, you'll be like that younger daughter of the Qiao family." Xiaonan wasn't deaf. She heard such remarks more than once. When the parents initially used Xiaonan as a negative example, they said it behind her back. However, perhaps they were used to it later. When their child brushed past Xiaonan, before the distance between both parties widened, some neighbors couldn't hold back and started educating their child by repeating those words. Xiaonan didn't lose her memory. She still remembered all these. Chapter 2046, Coming Down. Xiaonan herself was also responsible for her experience at the Qiao family all these years. She shouldn't have had any expectations of the Qiao family and felt that her concessions could be exchanged for peace and kinship. Xiaonan herself was problematic. How could she blame her neighbors for looking on and doing nothing? However, since their relationship as neighbors was already so cold and indifferent, Xiaonan would naturally not let these familiar strangers appear at her wedding, which was a happy occasion. After all, they had so many chances to help her in the past but chose to stand by the side, pretending to be mute. They even hurt her by using her situation to educate their children. Now that they were arguing today, the neighbor naturally removed the last layer of cloth that was covering the Qiao family's face. Because of Qiao Zijin taking the civil servant entrance examinations, Ding Ji had been using Zai Sheng's and Xiaonan's face. Ding Ji was completely in self-denial. She treated her relationship with Xiaonan as the same as those of other mother-daughter pairs. For Xiaonan, the Qiao family couldn't be even considered family. As for Ding Ji, to Xiaonan, she was a fake mom. Ding Ji was the one who had given herself the title of Zai Sheng's mother-in-law. Everyone, including Xiaonan, didn't acknowledge Ding Ji, yet Ding Ji dared to use the Zai family's reputation to engage in such activities. The neighbor expressed that Ding Ji was extremely thick-skinned. Everyone in the entire quad combined together couldn't compare to Ding Ji. "You, Ding Jiyi was furious. Indeed, she didn't recognize Jiao Nan. Until today, she still believed that Jiao Zijin was the one who would be promising. So what if Jiao Nan married Zai Sheng? She might be made to leave after a few days. As such, she had to treat Jiao Zijin well, as she was going to depend on her to provide for her in the future. She despised Jiao Nan, yet she was relying on Jiao Nan for everything now. It was impossible that Ding Jiyi wasn't feeling awkward and uncomfortable in her heart. It was just that Ding Jiyi rarely contacted her neighbors. Generally, no one would make a din with Ding Jiyi and chat with her about the relationship between Jiao Nan and the Jiao family. As such, at the same time that Ding Jiyi despised Jiao Nan, she also used her relationship with Jiao Nan to try to get more benefits for Jiao Zijin. At this moment, this layer of cloth was removed and Ding Jiyi almost wanted to get into a fight with the neighbor. I'm not going to bicker with you. I'm the chief's mother-in-law. My identity is different. Arguing with you would just lower my value. Alright, I'll see how long you'll be happy for. I want to see whether it's your daughter or mine that becomes a civil servant in the end. Ding Jiyi was already blaming herself for finding this person. How stupid was she? She had already said it so clearly. How was it that she would misunderstand her and pull Zijin down and let her daughter replace her? She said for both of them to take the examinations. That was good as well. It was better to know earlier that her neighbor was an ungrateful person who turned her back against her once she obtained benefits rather than later, when her neighbor's daughter and Zijin both became civil servants and her neighbor started to kick up a fuss to make her return the 100,000 yuan. It was just an interview position now. It was still easy for her to pull the other party down and get Zijin up. If she waited until the neighbor's daughter really became a civil servant before pulling her down, it would definitely be more troublesome. Earlier was naturally better than later. When her neighbor's daughter failed to become a civil servant, even if it was 200,000 or 300,000 yuan, she would definitely not accept it, let alone 100,000 yuan. Even if her old neighbor knelt down and begged her with tears, she would never agree. Otherwise, she would no longer be called Ding Jiyi. With capability, there was confidence. She successfully let her daughter pass the examinations when she had handed in a blank paper. With a few words, she also secured an interview spot for her neighbor's daughter. Ding Jiyi was full of confidence now. She didn't feel that it was a pity to return the 100,000 yuan now. At most, it hurt just a bit. She had already done all the work and the neighbor's daughter secured an interview spot. However, the neighbor wanted the money back now. That was unkind. Thankfully, this was just an interview spot, not the qualifications to pass the interview. Did she think that if she was eligible for an interview, it would definitely be smooth sailing for her to be a civil servant? At that time, she would use reality to teach her neighbor a lesson that until the last moment, everything was subjected to changes. Her old neighbor took back the 100,000 yuan today. In the name of the chief's mother-in-law, she promised that in this lifetime, she would never let the neighbor's daughter become a civil servant. She had said these words and would do the same in the future. She had slapped her in the face and exposed her shortcomings today. It could be said these two families were now enemies. She would wait and see. Aside from this civil servant examination, would the old neighbor really not beg their Chiao family for anything in the future? The stubborn Ding Jiyi endured the pain and threw the 100,000 yuan, which was not yet warm in her hands, to the old neighbor. Upon receiving the thick stack of money, the old neighbor felt assured. She no longer had to hold back the words she wanted to say. If she continued to hold them back, she would be suffocated to death. You old woman! You're addicted to ostentation and really think you're valuable, hey? Since I already have the money back, I'm not afraid to tell you the truth. Although you have made shortcuts this time, it would be impossible for Qiao Zijin to stand a chance at participating in the interview. The superiors from above called and said that the open recruitment this time would be fair and just. Everything would be done using capabilities. Why else do you think that although Qiao Zijin was on the interview list, she eventually couldn't go for it. It's all because of your good daughter and son-in-law. Indeed, he's the chief. He is fair and wouldn't bully us, normal citizens, just because he's now an official. If Jiao Zijin didn't have such a big head, she wouldn't wear such a big hat. Did she think that she could be lawless just because she has Zai Sheng as a brother-in-law? In your dreams. If Jiao Zijin could make it as a civil servant, Zai Sheng would definitely be the first person to perform checks. Everyone in the quad knows how capable Jiao Zijin is. Qiao Nan would know it even better. Jiao Zijin wanted to rely on her capabilities to become a civil servant? In her dreams. If Jiao Zijin wasn't capable, everything was in vain. Not only would Jiao Zijin not be able to get special care and treatment in some aspects as she was Zai Sheng's sister-in-law, but because of this relationship, she would be subjected to even stricter requirements and checks. Chapter 2047, Biased. The old neighbor definitely believed that with Jiao Nan around, even if Ding Jiyi was more capable, Jiao Zijin didn't need to think about becoming a fake phoenix and rising to the top. Ding Jiyi felt that someone had crushed her heart and she couldn't react. Her ears were buzzing. She wanted to internalize the neighbor's words a few times and understand them clearly before making a decision. Before she could make a decision, Jiao Zijin, who rushed out from the house, said with a hateful look, "Mom, is what that old woman said true? I received a call today saying that I no longer have to go for the interview because Jiao Nan harmed me? Why is she so vicious? She's already the chief's wife. For her, I'm not even thinking about my son. Why is she not willing to give me another path? Why must she personally ruin everything that I have obtained by working hard? Does she want to see me in a miserable state and force me to a corner? Would she be willing to let me go only if I'm begging on the streets? I don't understand. I'm her birth sister. We have the same blood. Does she need to hate me so much and be so vicious? She wants to force me to my death. Isn't she afraid of retribution?" At this moment, Jiao Zijin was really filled with hatred. She hated Jiao Nan, who was unwilling to leave her a path of life. She did not look for Jiao Nan and didn't try to make her presence known in front of her. She also did not hope for Jiao Nan to help her and pull her up. She had already made so many concessions. Why must Jiao Nan still reach out for a yard after taking an inch? Why must she destroy everything that she had worked hard to achieve? How was she in the way of Jiao Nan? Would Jiao Nan let her off only if she died a terrible death? Don't be agitated. Those words might be nonsense. Would our family not know what kind of person Jiao Nan is? If she is really this ruthless, Ding Jiyi's heart and mind were suddenly in a mess. She wanted to say that Jiao Nan was a wretched girl lacking a conscience. If Jiao Nan had a conscience, would they have to sell the big house then to cover the cost of Jiao Zijin's kidney transplant operation? However, that being said, that big house was bought using Jiao Nan's money. As such, it was still because of Jiao Nan's money that Jiao Zijin could perform the operation and live to this day. All these years, Ding Jiyi's relentless toward Jiao Nan and Jiao Nan's repeated compromises were enough to explain how weak Jiao Nan was. Ding Jiyi felt that her brain was going to be in knots after thinking so much. She still couldn't tell if Jiao Nan was a good-tempered or particularly ruthless person. There was such a huge commotion in the house. Jiao Dongliang wasn't dead. How would he not have heard everything? It was only now that Jiao Dongliang understood how capable Ding Jiyi was. They didn't pull strings with the Zai family and the Zai family hadn't agreed to anything. However, Ding Jiyi was so bold as to take on the identity of Zai Sheng's mother-in-law and handle the matter alone. Great! She got into trouble now, right? After trying for such a long time, Jiao Zijin still couldn't become a civil servant. Do the both of you really know what kind of person Nan Nan is? Jiao Dongliang was asking both Ding Jiyi and Jiao Zijin and himself. As time passed and after calming down, Jiao Dongliang could understand certain matters. Ding Jiyi was really stupid beyond cure to believe that Jiao Zijin was the most filial and promising child while Jiao Nan was the heartless, penniless, and useless daughter. No, in Ding Jiyi's subconscious mind, she knew clearly that the only reliable person whom she could lean on if something happened in the Jiao family was Jiao Nan. What was disgusting was that as Ding Jiyi enjoyed the comfort and ease that Jiao Nan brought for the entire family, she was using the most vicious words to pour dirty water on Jiao Nan's body and give all her credit to Jiao Zijin. She even imagined that the Jiao family was leading such a good life all because of Jiao Zijin. As such, when Jiao Zijin seriously imagined Jiao Nan as a vicious woman lacking conscience, Ding Jiyi couldn't help but subconsciously refute, disagreeing with Jiao Zijin's description of Jiao Nan. Okay, stop it. Don't push all the responsibility to Nan Nan. What do you mean by Nan Nan can't bear to see you well and can't wait for you to die? Are you really capable to pass the written test of the civil servant examination? Or are you unhappy that your tricks have been exposed and you feel that Nan Nan isn't helping you? It's best to be ethical in your words. Xiao Dongliang was extremely helpless at Jiao Zijin's and Ding Jiyi's shamelessness. In reality, he knew that not only would his words not let the both of them be clear-minded, but they would hate him in their hearts although he was obviously saying them for their own good. Upon thinking of how his family of four became like this today, Xiao Dongliang felt sad. Was this still a family? Dad, you, Jiao Zijin only felt that she was being bullied by Jiao Nan and was wronged. When she heard Xiao Dongliang putting in a good word for Jiao Nan but not helping her, Jiao Zijin was so angry that she almost burst into tears. I know you feel that Jiao Nan's promising now that she's married to Zai Sheng. I'm a divorcee and the family I married into back then wasn't as good as Jiao Nan's. As such, you despise me. However, your words are too overboard. How am I wrong? At this age and in this situation, Jiao Nan isn't taking care of me. She even destroyed what Mom was helping me to do. Doesn't she want me to die? Really, she was already very tolerant. In the past, she didn't need Jiao Nan's presence or efforts, let alone her money. Her mom had settled everything for her, but now, Jiao Nan was destroying them. Did this make sense? As long as your mom doesn't use the identity of Zai Sheng's mother-in-law or Nan Nan's mom, I'm not going to say anything about what she's doing, Xiao Dongliang said weakly. Jiao Zijin was even more unconvinced. Didn't my mom give birth to Jiao Nan? Isn't my mom Jiao Nan's mom? After Jiao Nan married Zai Sheng, my mom became Zai Sheng's mother-in-law. How is that wrong? My mom didn't lie. Dad, what you said is really funny. Xiao Dongliang was instead criticized by Jiao Zijin for talking funny. Xiao Dongliang felt extremely weak and didn't want to say anything. Yes, I'm stupid. I'm a fool. Chapter 2048, Reconnecting. Why am I even talking so much to you? This is the situation now. If the both of you are capable, I won't interfere. You can create trouble however you like. Yes, his previous worries were unnecessary. Based on their identities as ordinary citizens, even if Ding Jiyi and Xiao Zijin created trouble, it wouldn't be too much of a trouble. It wasn't easy for them to take a bribe. However, didn't they return the money immediately? He believed that with Zai Sheng's ability, no matter how troublesome Ding Jiyi was, Zai Sheng should be able to handle her. He said to hand Nan Nan over to Zai Sheng for him to take care of her. Indeed, Zai Sheng did a better job than him, her birth father. Xiao Dongliang couldn't manage Ding Jiyi and Xiao Zijin. He couldn't manage Jiao Nan and Zai Sheng either. In the face of this situation, Xiao Dongliang's shoulders collapsed. Perhaps in the future, he only needed to take good care of himself and lead his own life. No one in this family needed him anymore. The mentally tired Xiao Dongliang no longer interrupted Ding Jiyi's and Xiao Zijin's discussion. He was the only one in this family who wasn't thinking in the same frequency as this mother-daughter pair. Once Xiao Dongliang left, the mother-daughter pair fell into a same frequency discussion. Initially, Ding Jiyi and Qiao Zijin both felt that perhaps Ding Jiyi's expression wasn't clear enough that day, or the person Ding Jiyi asked for help from was too stupid and didn't understand Ding Jiyi's intention that Qiao Zijin was pulled down, the neighbor's daughter was pushed up, and such a blunder was committed. However, after the neighbor's words, Qiao Zijin and Ding Jiyi faintly felt it should be that Qiao Nan and Zai Sheng knew what they had done and made a call, thus causing Qiao Zijin to lose the interview opportunity. The mother-daughter pair was angry and cursed Qiao Nan to die a horrible death. No matter how happy Qiao Nan was now, after Zai Sheng understood that she was heartless and had no kinship to speak of with her family, he would definitely abandon Qiao Nan not too long later. How would Qiao Nan, who had left Zai Sheng, have the capital to be arrogant? Both of them could scold Qiao Nan very happily. However, the result was that Qiao Nan was unharmed, but their throats were about to be sore from all the scolding. Other people hurt the enemy by 1,000 by self-injuring 800. However, aside from self-injuring 800, what Ding Jiyi and Qiao Zijin did couldn't even hurt a strand of Qiao Nan's hair. After scolding, Qiao Zijin was short of breath and gulped down 2 glasses of water. "Mom, what should we do next about this situation?" To be more precise, it should be what they were going to do in the future. At this time, Qiao Zijin also understood what Ding Jiyi was up to. It didn't matter that Qiao Nan and Zai Sheng weren't around and that the call didn't go through. As long as Ding Jiyi boasted her relationship with these 2 people, there would still be people willing to take care of their family matters. However, the incident this time stated a problem. If a similar situation were to occur again in the future, the results of Ding Jiyi's hard work might disappear completely with a call from Zai Sheng. She wouldn't even be able to get any hard-earned money. Ding Jiyi was making use of the Zai family. However, Zai Sheng immediately destroyed what she was doing. Even if Ding Jiyi wasn't feeling discouraged, she would have nothing in the end. Upon thinking that Qiao Nan had been married to such a good man, but Qiao Nan and Zai Sheng were not even willing for her to be a civil servant, the helpless Qiao Zijin started to shed tears in front of Ding Jiyi again. "Mom, how are we going to lead our lives in the future? The husband wasn't hers, the work wasn't hers, and the money wasn't hers. Even this quad was Qiao Nan's. Don't cry. It hasn't been long since you did the operation. If you cry too much, you'll hurt your body." No matter how anxious she was still a headless fly and didn't have any idea at all. "No, let me think about it again. I'm her mom. She has to listen to me. Even if she doesn't acknowledge me, she can't get rid of our relationship. I'll sue her." How atrocious! Not only did she make her work for nothing, but she even let her old neighbor see her as a joke and suffer ridicule. If word of this got out today, how was she going to maintain her face at the quad in the future? How was Qiao Nan not a bad woman? She was extremely bad. Sue her. Qiao Zijin stopped crying. What are you going to sue her for? How are you going to sue her? Her husband's Zai Sheng. Is there any use in us suing her? Qiao Zijin was a little desperate. From last year onward, everything was no longer under control. Qiao Nan had changed such that she didn't listen to her mom's words anymore. She was completely out of control. There were changes to everything because Qiao Nan was out of control. In the past, their family of 4 used to live well. They didn't argue and were as peaceful as other families. Why did Qiao Nan have to change? Why did Qiao Nan harm the Qiao family and make them suffer for her own happiness? Wasn't it all right to sacrifice a little for the sake of one's loved ones? At least, Qiao Nan's compromise alone could be exchanged for the happiness of 3 people. On the contrary, now that Qiao Nan was leading a good life, nobody else was happy. Could the lives they were leading now still be considered humane? Qiao Zijin was full of resentment, but she couldn't do anything to Qiao Nan. Qiao Nan was long beyond Qiao Zijin's reach. Even if Qiao Zijin stood on tiptoe or stepped on a ladder, she still couldn't reach Qiao Nan. Ding Jiyi seemed to be in a difficult position. Qiao Nan wasn't afraid of her. Based on Xiao Nan's situation now, she had more ideas than her. She couldn't control Xiao Nan, and Xiao Nan wasn't even willing to see her. If they couldn't meet in person and she wasn't willing to pick up her call, how was she going to convey all her reasoning to Xiao Nan? Everything became a dead knot again. I'm her mom. I'm almost 70 years old. It isn't too overboard for her to provide for me, right? It has been almost a year since she ran away last year. For a year, she didn't give me any money. This is her fault here. Why can't I sue her? Yes, that was it. Xiao Nan was 40 years old. She was married and had a family now. It was Xiao Nan's responsibility to support her parents. Xiao Nan was obliged to provide for her. It was against the law if she didn't do so. She had a basis for suing her. Yes, that was said on TV as well. When she found Xiao Nan this time, she had to let her know clearly that she had to provide for her. She didn't need to think about using a few yuan to send her away. She had to think of how much money she should give her each month, what kind of filial piety she should have during the holidays, and how much clothes and food she should buy. Everything must be thought through in a comprehensive manner. At the mention of supporting the elderly, Xiao Zijin didn't object to it. The only problem now is how we're going to contact Xiao Nan. Was there any use if they sued Xiao Nan but she didn't turn up? Chapter 2049, Providing for them. Upon thinking that Xiao Nan was the chief's wife and that they had to go through the judicial procedures, Xiao Zijin felt that this was unreliable. Based on Zai Sheng's identity, wouldn't those people help Xiao Nan and ignore their Xiao family? Why should we find her? Ding Jiyi became confident now. We just need to sue her. There's no need to find her. If we file a lawsuit, the court will definitely issue a subpoena to Xiao Nan. This is different from the divorce lawsuit. We have evidence that she didn't provide for me. If she doesn't show up, that would be considered contempt of the court. The court has even more reason to press charges against her. Even if she's the chief's wife, she can't ignore the country's laws. We should take this opportunity and let her understand. Did she really think she's above all just because she's now the chief's wife? So what if she was the chief's wife? In this country, Zai Sheng wasn't the most powerful individual. Sure, Mom. I'll listen to you. Xiao Zijin herself didn't have any ideas. Upon hearing that Ding Jiyi came up with a solution, she naturally supported it. Mom, you're the most formidable to have come up with such a good idea. No wonder people always said that an elder at home is like a treasure at home. Whenever something happens, we can count on you to be the smartest. It was rare for Xiao Zijin to say such sincere words. She had to admit that when it came to dealing with Xiao Nan, her mom was more capable and she had more ideas than her. No problem. I'm almost 70 years old now. I can't live these years in vain. When you have reached my age, you can think of ways as well. Ding Jiyi straightened her back and became arrogant. Xiao Zijin and Ding Jiyi felt that they had both thought of a perfect solution. But when Xiao Nan received the summons in Qingshui town, she looked confused. Was this issued wrongly? Or could it be that Ding Jiyi and Xiao Zijin were crazy about money? No. Zai Sheng hugged Xiao Nan and replied calmly. Initially, the summons was sent to the Zai family's house in the quad. Because of Zai Sheng, someone had specially sent it to Qingshui town. What do you think about this matter? Xiao Nan's lips twitched. Do Dad and Mom know about this? Yes. The court's subpoena wasn't a small matter. Dad and Mom naturally knew about it. Xiao Nan stood up. Let's go out together and talk things clearly so that the two elders wouldn't worry. When Xiao Nan and Zai Sheng walked out, Zai Yaowai and Miaojing were already waiting. Before Xiao Nan married over, Miaojing already knew that their family would be related to the Qiao family somehow and Ding Jiyi was a very troublesome person. It was just that when this trouble was really placed in front of her, Miaojing, who had already done a lot of preparations, couldn't help but feel a headache. Nan, look at this. Although Ding Ji was unpleasant to the eye and according to what she understood from the news, it wasn't Ding Ji, as a mother, who provided for Qiao Nan, but Qiao Nan, the daughter, who had supported the entire Qiao family. Who asked Qiao Nan to be born to Ding Ji? At least, before Qiao Nan was made to drop out of school and start earning money, Qiao Nan had relied on Qiao Dongliang and Ding Ji to provide for her. As such, no matter how overboard Ding Ji was, Miao Jing felt that as a child, she should still provide for her. However, it was very important to pay attention to how to provide for her and how much living expenses she should provide each month. Who asked Ding Ji to have endless wants and didn't know how to be content? Zai Yaowai had similar thoughts. Their Zai family wasn't lacking money. It was worth spending a few thousand yuan each month to buy peace and reputation. It wasn't that they didn't want to provide for her, but the Qiao family was too greedy. They felt that the living expenses weren't enough and that the responsibility was on the Zai family. Nobody's money came from the wind. Children were obliged to support their parents but not obliged to satisfy their parents' endless demands without limits. That wasn't filial piety. That was foolish filial piety. Seeing that her in-laws seemed to think that for the past few months, not only did she ignore the Qiao family, but she also didn't give Ding Ji and Qiao Dongliang any living expenses, Qiao Nan could neither laugh nor cry. Dad, Mom, I haven't been working for long but I still have income. I don't have a lot, but I have been transferring 2,000 yuan every month to the Qiao family. Husband and wife each got 1,000 yuan monthly. Even with the current economic development and their country becoming stronger, there was still a huge gap between the rich and the poor. 2,000 yuan might not seem a lot, but in many places, a young person's monthly salary was only 3,000 or 4,000 yuan. To have a salary of more than 5,000 yuan was already considered high in an ordinary city. Qiao Nan transferred 2,000 yuan to the Qiao family monthly. That was equivalent to half the salary of an average person. As such, the amount Qiao Nan gave the Qiao family wasn't little. These 2,000 yuan couldn't let Qiao Dongliang and Ding Ji lead a prosperous life, but their basic necessities were covered. With these 2,000 yuan, Qiao Dongliang and Ding Ji could eat well every day. From the start to the end, Qiao Nan never thought about saving these 2,000 yuan. If she should give it, she would give it. She never gave a lesser amount or delayed the payment. On the first day of every month, Qiao Nan would remember to transfer 2,000 yuan. Apologies, but she was not willing to admit to the charges of not supporting her parents, as described in the subpoena. If giving each parent 1,000 yuan monthly wasn't considered as providing for the elderly, then the young people in China would no longer be able to live. You did give them. Miao Jing was stunned. She thought that Qiao Nan was angry at the Qiao family for being too overboard and kept finding her trouble and thus ignored the Qiao family's life and death. You gave them each 1,000 yuan a month. That's not considered little. On what basis are they suing you? Indeed, Nan Nan was a good child. Although the Qiao family was like that, Nan Nan still retained her bottom line as a person. She wouldn't give very little to the Qiao family, but the Qiao family didn't need to think about receiving more than they should. Yes, she had to continue insisting on such an attitude. Ding Ji finds the 1,000 yuan a month too little and thus came to sue you? Is something wrong with her? Even if she's suing now, she can't possibly receive more than 1,000 yuan a month as living expenses. Miao Jing expressed that Ding Ji was really a rare breed. Ding Ji had more than one daughter. Didn't she think that once she sued Nan Nan to the court would factor in Qiao Zijin's existence as a point of consideration when making a judgment? Why did the country encourage young people to give birth to 2 children? It was because it was too tough on 2 young people to take care of 4 elders. The Qiao family had 2 daughters. If each daughter gave each elder 1,000 yuan monthly, then combining the money together, Qiao Dongliang and Ding Ji could each receive 2,000 yuan monthly from their children. Chapter 2050, Graduating from Junior High School. If the couple pooled their money together, that was 4,000 yuan. That was equivalent to a young person's monthly salary. If this amount of money wasn't enough for Qiao Dongliang and Ding Jiyi to spend every month, then the court would no longer condone Ding Jiyi's unreasonableness and insatiable greed. Neither the country nor the court would condone Ding Jiyi's behavior. Zai Yaowai thought for a while. Did you keep a record of transferring money to your parents every month? Yes. Qiao Nan took out her mobile and found the mobile banking app. Apart from transferring money to the Qiao family, there weren't any other transfer records in Qiao Nan's mobile banking app. As such, once the app was launched, one could see clearly from the 3 messages that Qiao Nan had punctually transferred 2,000 yuan from her own account on the first day of each month. Zai Yaowai returned the mobile to Qiao Nan. On the safe side, you can go to the bank, pull out these remittance records, and submit them to the court. You can see how it goes and if you want to appear in court then. Since Qiao Nan had never done such a thing, she didn't need to bother herself much with this case. Ding Jiyi, this clown, was just blindly creating trouble. Zai Yaowai had to give it to Ding Jiyi as well. How could a woman like Ding Jiyi give birth to an intelligent daughter like Qiao Nan? Instead, it was obvious that Ding Jiyi had given birth to Qiao Zijin. He was even more thankful that Zai Sheng had a good taste and chose Qiao Nan, ignoring Qiao Zijin. If the situations of these 2 sisters were changed, there would really be a drastic difference. The time that Zai Sheng could spend with Qiao Nan was already counting down. As such, the Zai family wasn't willing for anyone to show up now and disrupt the interaction between Qiao Nan and Zai Sheng. Qiao Nan was also used to multiple situations happening in the Qiao family. When she received the court summons, there was that one moment when Qiao Nan didn't know whether to laugh or cry and felt helpless. Very quickly, Qiao Nan adjusted her mood and put the Qiao family's matter aside. She cherished the honeymoon time with Zai Sheng, which was running out soon. Brother Zai, are we going to the capital? Yes. Zai Sheng, who was hugging Qiao Nan, closed his eyes with a comfortable look. They didn't need any sun, beach, or sea. Zai Sheng was already enjoying the feeling of them quietly hugging each other. Upon reaching the capital, if you are dissatisfied with our room, you can just make amendments. Also, if it's lacking anything, remember to buy them. In the past, the number of times I returned home and the amount of time I spent at home were very little. It didn't matter how the house looked. It was all right as long as I could sleep there. With you around now, it's different. The house has to be comfortable. Don't be polite with me when you buy things. The money is yours as well. As a good man, the first night that Zai Sheng and Qiao Nan were married, Zai Sheng had already handed over his salary card and all his savings to Qiao Nan so that she could control and manage his finances fully. Even if it's uncertain now, you still have to consider some matters. Aside from our room, are you going to work harder and also prepare a room for our child? In the room of Zai Sheng's house in the capital, as he himself said, aside from a bed, there was really nothing else. There was only a bed in the big room, making it look especially empty and uncomfortable. Any hotel room would feel warmer and homey than Zai Sheng's room. Of course, in the Zai family's house, Zai Sheng didn't mind how the room he lived in was like. How would he care about how the other unoccupied rooms in the house were like? In the past, the Zai family's house had a lot of spare rooms that were unoccupied and were thus collecting dust. However, this year was different. There was a new member in the Zai family. Jia insisted on studying at Pingcheng High School, so she would only return to the Zai family's house in the capital only during the summer vacations and winter vacations. Of course, 2 guest rooms had to be reserved for Jia and Zai Hua. Aside from the guest rooms, what the Zai family had to consider the most was where Qiao Nan's and Zai Sheng's child should stay after he or she was born. Upon the mention of children, Qiao Nan was both happy and sad. In her dream, she was young and healthy. Thus, she gave birth to triplets at once. However, in reality, she was 40 years old and was at a higher risk level to give birth. Not to mention if the delivery would be as smooth sailing as in her dream, but Jiao Nan wasn't even sure now if she could be pregnant based on her current health conditions. Furthermore, she wasn't sure if she could have 3 cute and clever children like in her dream. She was already used to being a mother of 3. If 1 or 2 of her babies were missing now, Jiao Nan would feel miserable. It was a pity that Jiao Nan couldn't say these words to Zai Sheng. Jiao Nan held Zai Sheng's hand and said, "Don't worry. I will definitely make the place I'm living in somewhere I like. If you are away, I can't find you to provide suggestions. By then, don't be upset while I'm satisfied." When Brother Zai wasn't at home, she would naturally be the only person to decide on the decorating style. "I won't be unhappy." He really wasn't picky when it came to the place he was living in. The most important thing wasn't what kind of place he lived in but who lived with him. After the couple finished their discussion, before waiting for the subpoena to indicate when would be the time to go to court, Zai Sheng already brought his parents and Jiao Nan, his new wife, to board the plane heading to the capital. Jiao Nan naturally wouldn't tell anyone that she was leaving and going to the capital with the Zai family. The only person she would naturally tell was Jiao Dongliang, her dad. After reading the contents of the message, Jiao Dongliang took a deep breath. His daughter was married. It was normal for her to leave with his son-in-law. Hadn't he already known about this? That was good as well. Nan followed Zai Sheng to the capital to enjoy life. From now on, Nan was no longer that old girl in their quad who couldn't be married off but the wife of the chief that everyone had to respect. The only situation about Jiao Nan that Jiao Dongliang was not yet rest assured of was that because of the choice back then, Jiao Nan was a person who only had a junior high school certificate. Not only was Zai Sheng the chief, but he was also a university graduate. To stand together with Zai Sheng, who had such a high status, would Jiao Nan, who only graduated from junior high school, feel pressured? Would this cause gossip? It was the Jiao family's sin, yet Jiao Nan had to bear all the sufferings alone. It wasn't only Jiao Dongliang who had such worries. Jiao Nan herself would occasionally think that she didn't have enough qualifications. She only took the middle school examinations then and obtained a junior high school graduation certificate. How was she going to let Zai Sheng and the Zai family introduce such a self to outsiders in the future? Someone that had only graduated from junior high school? As such, when Jiao Nan was chatting with Zai Sheng on the plane, she shared that she wanted to go to school and continue learning to improve herself.